On the program, Healthy Living. What is the kidney?
The kidney is an excretory organ in the body, which is for metabolism.
Tuberculosis affects many organs in the body, but the common ones it usually affects is the lungs.
Epilepsy is a neurological problem.
Okay.
It is an injury in the brain, which causes someone to begin to convulse, to go into fits.
It is curable, but the cure is a long-term.
Certainly the best.
Welcome to Viewpoint on ITV. I am Caroline Okonji, and today let's talk about self-defense and the extent with which one can actually go to defend himself or herself, and also look at some laws that support self-defense, making reference to the case of a Nigerian farmer, Sunday Jackson, who overpowered and killed a Fulani herdsman in self-defense, and also he has been sentenced to death by hanging. Despite claims that he acted purely in self-defense, the Supreme Court of Nigeria on March 7, 2025 upheld a lower court verdict, ruling that rather than retaliating, he should have fled. It's Viewpoint on ITV, so let's go meet and sample opinions of resource persons regarding this topic.
I don't think there is any extent that is too far when it comes to a life, an issue of life and death. It is the right of every individual to go any length to protect himself, his properties, and loved one. And that is why the 1999 Constitution has amended, instructed the government of the day that their primary responsibility is safety of the life and property of its citizens. Therefore, if you narrow it down to an individual, it will therefore tell you that his primary responsibility is to ensure that he defends himself, he protects himself and his property and loved ones from any attacks that may lead to life or a loss of life. And in the case of Sunday in question that was sentenced to death by the Supreme Court, I would say ordinarily it is regrettable, it is appalling, and it is very disappointing. The question I would have loved to ask, and I want to ask Nigeria, who were the prosecutors? Who prosecuted Sunday? Is it the Nigeria state that prosecuted Sunday, who defended himself in a situation where security agencies and the Nigerian system were unable to defend him? And I will also ask, what was the fact that were before the judges and the court? Was he established to the extent that those who wanted to sniff life out of Sunday were the killer herdsmen, or those facts were not available? Because they said the law is blind. Depends on the facts that were available before the judges. And who were the lawyers of Sunday? Was he appropriately represented and defended? And I want to say, in such manner, this matter have been visited with a series of public condemnation. The Supreme Court will now have the cause to revisit his decision, because he himself have the power to revisit his earlier decision, and it's not alien before the Constitution. So in this case, I say it is sad and it is evil, because if this is sustained, we are indirectly giving the killer herdsmen the impetus, the encouragement to further attack innocent Nigerians and innocent farmers, because the law, it seems to defend their actions.
self-defense in one have to, even if you are not prepared, or you with the current situation in our country, let me just point down to our local government area where we are, of their notice, with the current situation of security threat and all, one have to be ready for anything. You self-defense for yourself, because one, the police cannot be everywhere, the security operatives cannot be everywhere, but that does not warrant we owning a rifles, assorted rifle, which is not registered, which is not does not comply with the government regulations. But we should be prepared for defense, because we don't have much security personnel that will go around or be better for each and every citizen. But one should be ready to defend itself when you find crisis, or when you find something like that is going to endanger your life. So we should have that at the back of our mind. Well, that is APEP's court. They've delivered judgment, but on the other side, the court was wrong, because if that man was murdered without he didn't defend himself, the story will not come up. It wouldn't get to even they will not, the people that killed him will not even be apprehended. But he defended himself on the cause of a security threat to his life. He defended himself in that extent. He killed, but I blame him for killing. If he has been able to maybe get one of them injured, apprehend them, hand them over to the security operative, would have been better. I think that is the angle where the Court of Appeal or Supreme Court gave their own verdict. But for me, I think everyone should be prepared for self-defense, because the current situation in the country does not warrant us to be relaxed or just play a hanky-panky game with your own life. I value my life, and I value the life of people around me. With the current situation of these headers, is getting alarming, and government cannot do it all alone. We should also be prepared, because somebody coming to kill you is prepared to do shit. So you should be prepared to defend yourself. So I see no evil act he committed, though the court gave verdict, but does not warrant to that level that he also should take life. Leaving the scene wouldn't be the best option, because they were prepared for him. The attackers are prepared to eliminate this man. If he had fled, they will still get him, because they will definitely overpower him. Those ones are with dangerous arms, they are with all sorts of, but he made himself, he defended himself, and I think he's right, it's good. And I also want the government to bring out this policy of controlling our arms for those that fit to have arms. Each and everybody should be licensed and should be scrutinized before you have arms. In our society today, the headers are causing me. If you see, the total numbers of headers, crime being committed in Novia Northeast alone is on the high side. It's on the global page. So one should be prepared to defend himself. It's not when it happened they will start, had I known, had it been, we would have defended. A whole community was rendered homeless because of headers. It has happened years ago, and it's still happening. So our government, we self should be prepared to defend ourselves. That's my own opinion.
The case of Sunday Jackson is a very, very sad one. One has tried to see if maybe it was being misrepresented or misreported, but as tried as much as one has, it seems to be that is what the Supreme Court said is what was reported. The man has been sentenced to death. Very unfortunate. The mere mention of the word that he was sentenced to death, convicted and sentenced to death, to me, it sets Nigeria back more than 50 years in our jurisprudence. The reason I say so is very clear. Section 33 of the Constitution of Nigeria, and the Constitution of Nigeria is the ground norm. Any law that is inconsistent with the Constitution, by that level of inconsistency, is null and void, invalid, and must be set aside. So if any law falls short of what the Constitution provides for, that law should go. Now, Section 33 of the Constitution says every person has a right to life, and no one shall be deprived intentionally of his life. save in execution of the sentence of a court in respect of a criminal offence of which he has been found guilty in Nigeria. Section 33(2), I think that is 33, yes, 33(1) I read now. 33(2) says, a person shall not be regarded as having been deprived of his life in contravention of this section if he dies as a result of the use to such extent and in such circumstances as permissible under the law or as necessary. Then 2A says, for the defense of any person from unlawful violence or for the defense of property. Now that is very clear. You have a right to defend your person. You have a right to defend your person. You have a right to defend any other person apart from yourself, any other person that is within your precinct of protection. You can defend yourself, you can defend your wife, your children, persons that are anybody who is in danger in your precinct, within your presence. You have a right to defend that person. You also have a right to defend your property. That being the case, if we are to interpret it as it states clearly there, you can defend yourself, defend the persons around you, and defend your property. A person who was farming in his own land, in his own farm, in his own land, he was there sitting in his doing his business privately. He didn't go to attack anybody. He was doing his legitimate business, and suddenly he was attacked from nowhere by another person who left home with the sole intention to go and do harm. That other person, the herdsman who came to attack Sunday Jackson, left home with the intention to go and do harm. See, these are two clear cases. If you read the criminal code's provisions on murder, it is the Fulani herdsman, the herdsman that was killed, that actually committed murder, that actually attempted to commit murder, and he was overpowered. Sunday Jackson ought to be given a medal. In a responsible society, be given a medal for defending himself and also defending his property. The reasoning of the Supreme Court is that so far as Sunday Jackson had been able to overpower his attacker, the herdsman, he ought to have gone away. Our people must learn that in this life, there are things that are born with you. You have certain rights that are born with you. If you are sure that you are within your rights and you have not committed any offense, and somebody just came to attack you, is attacking you, you have done all that you needed to do to avoid the attack, but he's attacking you on your own property. Please defend yourself. You have a right to self-defense. I know that it would dwindle, it will bring down the fight, the push back to defend yourself from the farmers, because the farmers on their own part, they've suffered enough and they've been trying to defend themselves. But with this judgment now, judgment is going to bring down, it's going to dampen their spirit, it's going to dampen the spirit of defending themselves. But they shouldn't see from that perspective. Rather, the farmers should speak up in one voice, go to the National Assembly, push for an amendment of the Constitution and even the Criminal Code, so that it will not expressly so say that if you are in your property and you are attacked, you can do anything to defend yourself. Let it be expressly so say. Because when it is not expressly so say, the way it is, I read the provision just now, you can see that it leaves room for the judgment that can go this way and go that way. It's time we amend this provision to make it now clear. Even though it is so already, but it should now be very clear that anytime you attack a man in his own property, you can be killed and nothing will happen. That is, everybody understand that one.
Actually, I want to look at it from two major aspects. The reason that I want to look at it from these two aspects is because of some things that I know. When I say some things that I know, is that one, I'm looking at the aspect that have to do with the issue of some things that trend in social media. That when you find out the detail, it might not be as it is being presented. So, if the judgment was actually based on what we have been hearing and reading on social media, personally, I would say that is extremely wrong, bad, injustice, and wickedness. But if that is not the true story, that there is something behind it, probably they find out that it was not in self-defense, then that means the government need to come out and make the truth to be known. But for now, since we have not heard contrary outside what has been going on social media, it's a condemnable act, an injustice of judgment. Then, if I want to look at the extent to which one should defend himself from the biblical aspect, I know that some people want to say something, want to react negatively. Some others may also want to see it from another perspective. Why did I say so? For instance, Jesus was saying something. He said that if somebody slap you on one side, you should give the other side. Then if you also look at it, he was also talking about that if somebody is dragging you to the court, he said you should quickly settle the matter on the way. And when you read that scripture down, you now discover that one of the reasons that Jesus was giving such counsel was actually because of the injustice of men. So when you look at that, I want to say that if you see anything that have to do with trouble, the best is that you should run away from it. Be somebody that will follow the Bible principle, where the Bible told us that we should follow peace with all men. That means we should be peacemaker, and we should not allow anything that will make us to become in trouble with anybody. But that is not to say that trouble will not come, because even if you decided to stay on your own, not to relate with people, trouble will still come. So I want to say this: there is a law of the land, because as far as we are still here on this earth, so you discover that there are things that we cannot do without. There are laws that are guiding everybody. So when it comes to the aspect of self-defense in the area that is, we are now going out of the biblical principle, it should be that the government should know that if they are not there to provide security for the people don't have option. Now for them to at least to also want to rise up to say let them defend themselves, because you can't watch an evil man coming to you to take your life, and you now say because tomorrow they will judge and you will not be defended based on to say you kill the person that is trying to kill you, that you should allow them to just come and slaughter you before your face. So you have to also rise. So I want to use this opportunity and this medium to tell our leaders that they should rise up to their own responsibility. They should rise up to their own justice. They should not make those that they are leading to lose confidence in them. Because the truth is this: as far as Nigeria is concerned, the summary of our justice is injustice. It's something that is condemnable. To rise up and do the right.
Something whereby how to defend myself. Just like the way I'm working right now. This is my factory where I'm doing my production. Someone can just walk in down here now and tell me that he wants to come and take over this property from me, and which I knew is for me. It belongs to me. I will take it to the extreme lengths the way I could, because I have to defend the property for myself, because I will not want someone out there to come and defend it for me, because I own it. I know how I purchase it. And at the same time again, for someone else to just come in and badge on me to tell me that he owns this place, that he wants to take it for me, I will go to extra length to fight and defend myself. If I can defend myself and take a weapon from him, I will not hit him. I can only paralyze him. I won't kill him. I will paralyze him and I will call the police to pick him up.
In English, they have a word called defend. And for somebody that I didn't know, to barge into my personal life, just for him to come and show me, even for any form of intimidation, to go as to something that will affect life, I can go as far as to defend myself. First of all, first defense for my own self, for him not to take my life. Understand? What about if I didn't defend myself? and eventually he now succeeded to kill me, for example, I didn't defend myself, how will I learn to take God? And everybody must surely blame me. I must try all my best. But if it happen, something must kill a man one day. You understand? You first try. If it now happen mistakenly, the man now die. But in the law court, I don't know, that is for lawyer, I don't know whether if they have a way of they will not use because of, if they are finishing, that's why police need to be there. After finishing the investigation, they know whether if I'm really I'm guilty, I intentionally did it, you know, before they can take anything that they wishes them.
Self-defense is provided for under the criminal code, which is applicable in the southern part of Nigeria, and as well as the penal code applicable to the northern part, which of course where Sunday Jackson incident took place. By virtue of section 286 of the criminal code, self-defense is not, to my own understanding, is not an absolute defense, because going by the provision of that section, it uses the word reasonable necessary force to repel or to retaliate, so to say, any attacker. And of course, we all know that what is reasonable and necessary at that particular point may not be to the ordinary reasoning of an ordinary man. And we are looking at the Supreme Court here. Their judgment, they have their own reasoning why they come to the conclusion that he should have fled after disarming his attacker. But the question that is begging for an answer is this: when your life is at stake and someone has come to you to kill you and you are able to disarm him, I think in my own little legal knowledge, if you can disarm him and the weapon with which he attack you, you use it against him, I think that should be regarded as self-defense. But still, I think Supreme Court may have their own reasoning. They are the apex court, and they have their own reasoning why they come to that conclusion. Like I said earlier, self-defense is not an absolute defense in law, because if you look at the defense of property, it's different from the defense of one's body. And in the defense of property, it will be said that until the attacker is within your premises, before you can actually say he has come to attack. Self-defense, to my own best understanding, is not an absolute defense in law. Going by that provision that you have to use reasonably necessary force.
A semi-war between the Christian and the Muslims, and that's the gospel truth. If Jackson was one Alaji Usman Dafodo or one Malam so and so, they won't say this. They will tell you self-defense. Okay, you brought animals into somebody's farm to destroy crops, and the person was trying to, like, okay, please stop this, your cattle or animal, whatever, from destroying my crops. Then you attack the person. Self-defense. The person trying to save himself took the knife from you, and you could see the mark all over him. Fought back, and in the process, the other person lost his life, and the Supreme Court was quick to pass judgment. They will not be so quick to pass judgment when it comes to politics, when it comes to what you call it, election and all that. So I think it's one-way ticket. The Christian Union, Christian CAN, PFM should wake up to their responsibility. They should stop fighting themselves. This is a clear motion for believers to think about. Stop fighting yourself and focus on better things. If the Muslim nation can just pass this judgment, just like that, then I think this is Nigeria. Nigeria is not a Muslim country or a Christian country. It's for everybody. Whether you're Muslim, whether you're Christian, whether you're a non-believer, whatever you're serving, that Nigeria is for everybody. And so the law shouldn't favor one side. So the favorism is going to one side. You can say I'm Hausa man. Sorry, I'm not trying to be partial here. Selling dagger, knife. Then nothing. When the police, in fact, they won't even arrest him on the street. But you and I, If we walk by the street, there is a knife in our car. The policeman will ask, what are you doing with this knife? When you get to the station, you will explain. But there was some man who they sell out for street, we carry dagger, carry knife. They hawk them. Nobody harass them. So that's Nigeria that we are.
We're going to be wrapping it up on Viewpoint on ITV by letting you know that in any situation you find yourselves, and if you must defend yourself, you should be ready to do it in accordance with the law. Don't take laws into your hands, and don't do it in a way that you will end up in trouble. I am Caroline Okonji. Bye for now.
Certainly the best.
Hello everyone, thank you for joining us today on the program Healthy Living. I'm Adesu Wausawagye. As you can observe already, the Harmattan is here, whether we want to like it or not, because when you see the level of dust on our streets, particularly earth roads, you will know that yes, so Harmattan don't show, you know. And there's so many persons who are very allergic to some things that happen this period. So I want to see how we can help you. I remember vividly this time last year, I was in the public transport and somebody was gasping for breath. You know, after all said and done, when the person regained herself, it was like she doesn't have history of asthma. She has not been sick like that, but she inhaled the dust and everything just got mixed up. We were quite scared, and thankfully everybody in that bus was nice. Everybody came down, the driver who was looking for water was looking for water. You know, Nigerians now, when they want to help, they help. Surprisingly, nobody brought out their phones to come and record. You know, that was nice. That was beautiful. But you know, once something like that is happening, you see everybody bringing their phone. Content creators, they want to create content from another person's problem. That's quite sad. We need to help anybody in emergency situation, not looking for how to create content out of somebody's pain. Now, let's go to what we have to discuss today. The Harmattan season and your lungs. What are the things that can happen to your lungs? Do you know? In case you don't know, I have a beautiful doctor in the house. She's Dr. Uche Ezeapota, Senior Registrar, Department of Medicine from the University of Benin Teaching Hospital. Hello, doctor.
Good afternoon.
You're looking cool. This Harmattan no near you.
At all.
That's lovely. All right, we're in the Harmattan season now. It is a natural season. So, but what are the things that can happen to one's lungs during this period?
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Right, we are in the Harmattan period now. It has just started. What is Harmattan? Harmattan is just dry wind that comes with dust. Seen mostly in our parts of the world, the West African countries. And when this season comes around, it comes with so many things that affect our lungs. The lungs is a part of the body we use to breathe. So, with this dry weather, the lungs get dry quickly. The lungs are protected by the mucous membrane, let's just say the oil that keeps it running.
Okay.
Yes. So with this Harmattan now, it tends to dry up fast. And that is one of the biggest challenge we have this season.
Okay.
And when it dries up like that, it's a problem. you know, the oil is not there to keep the lungs working effectively. So when it dries up, it becomes irritated. The lungs become irritated. It can become inflamed. And from there, the person may be prone to develop a respiratory problem. Thank you.
Okay. So these respiratory problems, how does it come? What are the signs? What are the symptoms?
Thank you. So when the lungs become inflamed, they become hyperactive. It can come as a discomfort in the chest.
Okay.
When the person is breathing, we say, I have pain on my ribs. It can as well come as cough. A lot of people will begin coughing at this period. Also, it may come with sore throat, dry mouth, dry nose.
Like the ones I'm experiencing already.
Oh.
Cough, catarrh, and all of that.
That is the effect of harmattan.
Okay.
Yes, everything is dry.
So what do we do? Particularly for children first before we talk about adults, because at least some adults can take some precautionary measures, but children, they are carefree. How do we protect our children at this period?
For our children, we can try as much as possible to keep them away from dust, if possible, or limit the number of exposure to these dust particles. If it's a child that can put on a face mask, you will encourage that child to wear a face mask when going to school or when going out.
Okay.
Also, this is a season where we encourage water intake. Adequate water intake, frequent water intake to keep your mucous membrane moist.
Okay. Yes. And for the adults?
Likewise for the adults, same thing essentially, wear a face mask. If you are not comfortable with the disposable face mask, you can make a cloth. There are very good ones, cotton materials you can procure and wear it when you are going out. And if possible, you limit your exposure to dust, especially for adults with a background respiratory disease. Try and limit the number of exposure to this particle, this dust or windy particles. It will help.
Okay, you know, you said particularly adults with background ailments. We know that this period, those who are suffering from asthma, tuberculosis and all of that will face some serious challenges. All right, dealing with all of that, what is this person supposed to do? And at this period, I've heard, I don't know if it's a fact or a myth, that this period, a lot of airborne diseases will begin to fly. So let's answer that first. Is it a myth or a fact that this harmattan period, there will be lots and lots of airborne diseases?
It's a fact.
Okay.
Because this harmattan period comes with wind, and this wind carries dust particles. And as well, it can trap organisms, germs. And we breathe, everybody breathes. We breathe in these things into our lungs. And that increases the likelihood of respiratory tract infection this harmattan season. So when these microorganisms get trapped in the air, in the dust particles, we breathe it in, they go inside, the lungs are already dry, they are inflamed, they have this ability to quickly trap in these organisms, these germs, and they trigger the respiratory problems that we see in this period.
So, ladies and gentlemen watching, it's a fact that this period, a lot of airborne diseases will fly. So cover your faces with face masks if you can, and limit the way you go out. We'll take a short break. When we come back, Doctor will answer the other question. Stay with us. All right, thank you for staying tuned. We still have Dr. Uche with us, and we are talking about your lungs and this harmattan season, the things that can happen to your lungs. All right, doctor, talking about those with underlying ailments, particularly, let's take the issue of asthma. We know that some persons don't like to carry their inhalers as a result of stigmatization. Some don't want people to know that they are suffering from such an ailment. And this period is when crisis will always come up, or emergencies will just come upon that person. What is that person supposed to do? And what are those around that person supposed to do to help this person?
Okay. So, talking about people that have background asthma, likewise other respiratory illnesses, this period they are very prone to having an exacerbation. Exacerbation means a frequent attack of their symptoms. Okay? Because the lungs are already having problems. They are dry at this period, they are irritated, they are inflamed. This person with asthma has an increased risk of coming down with repeated attacks. So this season, any person with asthma or other respiratory infection should do as much as possible to take proper care of yourself. Number one, protect yourself by wearing a face mask. Okay. Very important when you are going out, to protect yourself against the dust and the wind and every other thing. Then stay hydrated. Take enough water. Avoid any form of triggers that can make you to calm down with an attack. Triggers like smoke. If you see anybody smoking around you, please try and step away. Leave that environment. Okay. That allows people to burn anything, refuse. I think this is a period of bush burning and all.
Yeah, people will burn bushes.
Try as much as possible to stop that. Don't allow anybody to burn anything around you because it can trigger your asthma. Okay. Also, ensure you carry your inhalers with you in case of any attack. Please don't be shy of bringing out your inhalers when you are in public. You are trying to hurt yourself if you do that. I won't advise you to do that. Bring out your inhaler and use it as recommended. Also, keep up with your health checks. Visit your doctor for follow-up. In case there are any adjustments to make to your medications, because there are times when you follow up in clinic, either your medications are step up or step down. Okay. When your symptoms are mild, it can be step down. So this period, you need to visit your doctor so that adjustments can be made to your medications.
Okay, this issue of asthma, is this something that can be cured or managed?
Asthma can be managed. It cannot be cured. We manage it by taking your medications as when due. And most importantly, avoid the triggers. Anything that can trigger your asthma, avoid it completely. You cannot bleach oils to fry your tomatoes. Some are allergic to their pets, cats, dogs, even your termites, your chairs in the parlor. So it's your duty to try and find out what really
what your
triggers your asthma, and you make do away with that thing so that your symptom will be as mild as possible. Some persons live with asthma, but nobody will know because their symptoms are well controlled. Okay. That is the aim in managing asthmatic patients.
That's huge. Okay, this period, a lot of children have started coughing. And, you know, like in our usual character, an ordinary cough, we just go to the backyard, pluck a fairy, pluck bitter leaf, squeeze together, give that child to drink, or we just look for this one that they call leaf of life. Just squeeze it, add a little bit of salt, give the child to drink. Even adults take it, you know. But you see parents keep giving that to their children even when they are not finding relief. So what is one supposed to do in such a situation? Should we leave that child to just keep coughing, or others will just decide to do self-medication? What I'm trying to ask is this. You know, children, when they cough, they have this wheezing sound or some kind of funny sounds. How do we know if that is asthma or just ordinary cough? What are the signs we should look out for?
Okay, for children with asthma, when they start coughing, we are not sure whether it's asthma or any child that is coughing. We don't know what is wrong with this child. And a child have coughed for 1, 2, 3 days. Please take the child to a hospital.
Even 1 week, parents don't bulge.
We do all sorts of self-medications. It's not advisable. When a child is coughing, you've done covering up this child, keeping the child warm, giving some warm water, and child is still coughing, take the child to the hospital. Symptoms of asthma will include coughing, which may be worse at night. Patient and child may be having difficulty with breathing, may complain of chest pain. The child may be wheezing. When the child is breathing, you hear some musical sound that is known as wheezing. The child begins to wheeze. These are all the signs of asthma. The patient or the child needs to see a doctor for review.
Okay, you know, because of this notion that hospitals are quite expensive, why don't I go to this one pharmacy and go and buy medicine to give to my child? I need you to talk about this issue of visiting the chemist or pharmacy, as the case may be, before seeking the help of a doctor when the problem is almost taking over that person.
Visiting the health institution, the doctor we still have a deficit in seeking health care. When a child is coughing, you may, as a mother, you go to the chemist, buy some syrup to give to this child a day or 2, which is not even advisable because you don't know why this child is coughing. You are giving an expectorant, a cough syrup, to suppress the cough. That is not good. We don't give children cough syrup because we want to know exactly. Yes, it's not advisable to give children cough syrup because the doctor wants to know what is happening with this child. Is it a bacterial cough? Is it a viral cough? And you are just suppressing this cough. It is not good. When a child is coughing, please take the child to a pediatrician for proper care.
Okay, that's fantastic. I hope my people are listening. You don't take all of that into your own hands. Self-medication, like doctor said, the damaged person. No. Okay, now doctor, you know, a lot of us don't even know when we have allergies. So how do we test for allergies?
Okay, allergy simply means the body, the immune system, reacting to something that ordinarily should not cause a problem.
Okay.
This may be due to our genetic makeup or other environmental factors. Some persons may be allergic to medications, food, and some other things, either by eating it, just inhaling it, or applying on the skin. You can be allergic to anything. So when you notice some symptoms of allergy or allergic reactions, you have to find out exactly what you are reacting to, because if you don't make and remove that thing, you keep coming down with allergic reaction. And when you take a particular thing and you start coughing, or you start wheezing, or you start sneezing, or your eyes start itching you, turning reddish, or you even start having difficulty in breathing, these are the various forms of allergic reaction. And when it gets to this, you need a proper medical checkup.
But people don't go for medical checkup. Maybe there's a particular chemical in your cream that you're reacting to, you don't know. The next thing, I better go buy me oil. You don't rub oil for your body. You know, but that works too. For some persons, it does work.
It's just to calm it down. Because if you go back to apply the same thing on your body, it will come back worse.
So what's the permanent cure for allergies now?
Allergies, there are medications for allergy.
Really?
Yes. There are medications for allergy which will be given to you in the hospital. The permanent cure is to remove the allergen. What is causing this allergy? When you remove it, then you are free. Except your immune system comes in contact again with the allergen.
What if the immune system is fighting itself over anything at all? What does one do?
That is an autoimmunity.
Okay.
When your body is fighting itself against something that is described as autoimmunity.
Okay, there's this thing that I really want to talk about now. When somebody have colds, catarrh as a result of inhaling dust and all of that, it gets to a point that maybe when you sneeze or when you try to blow your nose, you bring out, you know, like catarrh has its own color, but this time around, you're blowing your nose, you're bringing out blood. Other times it's brownish, and sometimes it smells. What condition is that?
Okay, as I said earlier, with this Harmattan season, the windy air, the dusty air can trap viruses, and you inhale it. It will go to your lungs and cause problems. Things like pneumonia.
Oh.
Yes. This is a period for pneumonia.
That's huge.
When you inhale this virus into your lung, you come down with pneumonia, bronchitis, inflammation of the lungs. Okay? People that have other chronic illness, respiratory illnesses, come down with exacerbations. Okay? So when you have these things, you try as much as possible to see your doctor, because sometimes it comes down with fever. And we also encourage this season for people to go for vaccination. Actually, there's vaccines we take against the influenza virus. The influenza virus is what
this period.
This period it
There
causes.
are vaccines.
There are vaccines that you take every year to help.
Any age limit?
The influenza virus vaccine, from 6 months can take it.
Okay.
Then there is the pneumococcal vaccine. We encourage the elderly ones
to
to take. It protects them. It gives them this protective covering against all the things flying in the air.
What did you call the virus again? The
We have
vaccination
the
again?
Influenza vaccine.
Okay.
And the pneumococcal
Pneumococcal
vaccine.
vaccine.
Yes.
All right, doctor. One statement of advice as we round up our show.
My advice for us is to take care of ourselves as much as possible this period, even as we go out to hustle for our daily bread. Try to protect yourself. Wear a face mask. Face mask goes a long way to protect against respiratory diseases.
All right,
and
Dr.
stay
Uche.
hydrated.
Okay, Dr. Uche, thank you so much for finding time to be with us.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, guys, you've heard everything Dr. Uche said, particularly those vaccines. The elderly, please do all that you can to go take their vaccines. They don't call off strike, just in case you don't know. The strike has been called off, so you're free to walk into the hospital as you like. That vaccine is very important, okay? And be hydrated. Wear face masks, all right? And you'll be happy you did. Dr. Uche, a pleasure to talk to you today. All right, guys, we'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.
Certainly the best.